So this is from Atlanta to DC. And we're gonna fly X-plane, and we're gonna fly Delta as Delta 22. So let's connect. That's interesting. I didn't know that this would work for both X-plane and, or is this for X-plane?
Atlanta approach, do you copy?
I copy, go ahead.
Atlanta approach, this is Delta 22, ready for push and start.
Delta 22, ramp is on control, otherwise ready for taxi in accordance with your PDC.
Thank you, sir.
Skype 1232, uniform change to my frequency 133.47.
Skype 1232, uniform with you, 3347.
Number 1232, uniform, Atlanta approach, Atlanta altimeter 2982. Let me know when you have the arrival ATIS letter and expect ILS 8 left.
Expect the ILS for your left end, will advise with the weather. Skype 1232, uniform has Charlie at Atlanta.
Great news, Captain. Your tow's coming.
Delta 9121, ready for taxi. What's called, sir? Delta 9121. Delta 2921, check your squawk code. We're using the new 7224 and it's not allowing me to enter my transponder code. 9121. Okay, 9121 should be squawking 5730, 5730. Conventional aircraft to land arrival Delta, current departure, Quebec.
Alright, looks like the doors and hatches are closed and we're ready to connect.
Transponder code. So you said you are unable to enter the transponder code? Yes, that's correct. I can enter it, but instead it's on 2000. Okay, try going into your pilot line, doing dot X as an X-ray space, and then your four numbers mark up. Roger that, I'll try that.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go. Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake. Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Departure, good afternoon, Delta 2422 with Quebec, request IFR to Toronto.
Operation complete. Set parking brake. Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Then approach Delta 2312 or taxi with Delta, request 27 right for departure.
Delta 2312, Atlanta departure, roger, runway 27 right, taxi via Lima, Lima, Charlie.
Lima, Lima, Charlie, 27 right, Delta 2312. Flight approach, Jamie, Delta 737 with Charlie, descending via the Aussie 1 out of 274.
Delta 737, let approach, runway 8 left.
8 left, Delta 737.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
RNAV, runway 7 approach.
HF 498, let approach, roger, you expect that approach, DLM altimeters to 2981.
Approach, this is Delta 22, with you ready for taxi, information Papa.
Delta 22, Atlanta departure, runway 9 left at Mike 2, taxi via Mike 2. Who's calling for taxi? Is that Delta 22 or Delta 9120?
So it's Delta 22.
Okay, Delta 22, runway 9 left at Mike 2, taxi via Mike 2.
Taxi via Mike. 9 left, Delta 22.
Mike 2 for 9 or left. Yeah, Mike 2.
Mike 2. Delta 22.
November 1232 uniform, turn 5 degrees right, vector sky.
5 degrees right, 50 uniform.
Chef 498, 5-person heading, descend and maintain 3,000, vector sky.
Present heading 3000, Beachhead 498.
Chef 498, finding 210.
210, Beachhead 498.
On at the football runway 27 right, cliff, take off.
September, runway 27 right, runway 312.
737 clear, gas is going to maintain 12,000.
Gas 12,000, Delta 737.
November 1232 uniform is going to maintain 5,000.
That's not
what's the call for requesting clearance?
Delta 589.
Delta 589, you should have a message that says ACAR the PDC. That's your clearance right there. Let me know if you don't have it.
Okay, I got it. So, requesting push start Delta 589.
Roger, land to control, about ready for taxi.
Roger. We're still planning 8 left, as you got to the party on 27.
No, we'll still do 8 left. I think the wind just still shows 8 left. They might switch to west stops later in the day, but the tailwind component shouldn't be too bad. The wind's only 200 at 6.
That's no worries, yeah. We can take 8 left all day. Delta 737.
Leaving 14,000 left turn direct pop.
14,000, start on
Center 2312, leaving 5,000 left turn direct Palmer.
Delta 5,000, direct Palmer, Delta 26 off.
Delta 22, RNF to Linus, runway 9 left at line 2, clear for takeoff. Down's all static, Delta 22, RNF to Linus, runway 9 left at line 2, clear for takeoff. That's Delta 22 transmitting, all I got is static, I got nothing to voice. Thanks, I got you now, thanks. Picture 498, 6 miles from Gua, turn left, heading 100, maintain 3000 until establish on the final approach course, cleared RNAV, runway 7 approach.
Alright, left turn 100, 3 till established, cleared RNAV, runway 7 approach.
Who's calling for taxi? That's Delta 589, and that's Delta 589, check your squawk, should be 7222. You should be calling it the north end, I believe that's what your PDP says, but which one would you have, right left or right program then? Oh, right left. That's how they run, right left, I'd like to activity and label 1. Double 737 on speed at 210. 210 now, double 737. Location 498, runway 7, clear to land.
Yes, I'm at 4,200.
Alpha 1 American 9, descend to maintain follow 240. 240, American 9. American 5, good direction over, crossing over, at above 8,000, cleared to ILS, runway 17 approach. Luxembourg, at above 8,000, cleared to ILS 17 for American 5. American 721, say indicated airspeed. Like 250. Roger. American 5, maintain 270 knots or less, 270 or less. 270 or less, or American 5.
Go ahead, sir. American 10, you want to afternoon, flight level 350.
That was American 1081.
Affirmative.
American 211, you have frequency? American 211, on here, the contact close on. American 4, descend to maintain follow 350. And the 350 for American 4. American 800, descend to maintain follow 350. 350, American 800. Which early low 1000 and flight is still under taxi. If you're on the ground at Charlotte for a taxi, you gotta stand by, I'll get you in a minute. American 1, clear to Snowbird, you are across Snowbird at above 8,000, cleared ILS runway 17 approach. At above 8,000 Snowbird, cleared for the ILS 17 approach, American 1. And American 1, did I see 270 knots? 27, or did I see 274, American 1? Let's see your view. Descend to maintain follow 240, American 9. We're on our way down to 240, American 9. Thank you. American 4, squawk 0760. 0760 for American 4. Giant 3619, leaving airspace, the Washington Center closed, radar service terminated, for future approved, Giant. Walker 2004, Jack closed, radar service terminated, for future approved. Change approved, Walker 2004, have a good day. Southwest 1243, same for you, for future approved.
Southwest 1243, thanks, Steve.
Alright, anyone departing out of Atlanta, call. Delta 22 here. Delta 589, checking in. Delta 589? Yes, this is correct. Delta 589, I want to send a rocket climate K follow 300, and are you RVSM capable? Climb 300, and what was that? Are you RVSM capable? I think so. Okay, roger.
American 1081, we're coming up on our composite.
American 2, descend to maintain flight level 240.
Maintain flight level 240, American 2.
American 4, descend to maintain flight level 300. 300 for American 4. Delta 20, if you will, understand how. Center, American 1081 at our top of the set. Stop it. Who's at the top of the sun? American 1081. American 1081, descend to maintain flight level 300. 300, American 1081. American 9, cross snowboard at above 8,000, clear to ILS, runway 17 approach. Cross snowboard at or above 8,000, clear for the ILS, runway 17 approach, American Center.
American 721, and I'm set out. I have the one-way in sight.
Who is that?
American 721.
Okay, you're still clear to ILS 17, runway 17, clear to land.
Copy that.
Center American 170812, with the weather in Charlotte, right to taxi. Good afternoon, Center Giant 1214, happy change. And with the flight level 350. American 1708 at Charlotte for taxi.
Okay, from American 708 to taxi.
American 1708, runway 36 center taxi, Echo, cross runway 23.
Runway 36 center taxi, Echo, cross runway 23, Echo, for American 708.
American 2 1214. Go ahead, checking in with you, flight level 350, 1214 heavy.
Atlanta, hello, Walker 3997, flight level 400, descend from feet.
Center, Giant 1214 heavy.
Stand by. Giant 1214 heavy, let's hear cross Gandalf at 13,025 right up. Giant 1214, this is everything again.
Giant 1214 heavy.
Giant 1214, descend me the Gandalf to arrival, the Atlanta altimeter 2980.
2980, descend via the Gandalf to arrival, Giant 1214 heavy. Atlanta Center, frontier flight 1327, leaving flight level 240 on the Chesley 6.
Sorry, who's that calling?
Frontier flight 1327.
Frontier flight 1327, Atlanta Center, roger, radar contact, expect runway 36 center, Charlotte.
36 center for frontier flight 1327.
American 1, runway 17, clear to land.
17 clear to land, American 1.
Atlanta Walker 3997, 400 over feet. American 721, left lane, able to exit parking. Watch out of left foot, able to exit to parking.
Walker 3997, left center, radar contact, level 400, you on the track.
A couple of ones, Walker 3997, only radar contact at flight level 400, welcome. American 9, runway 17, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 17, American Center.
American 4, cross no, bird out above 8,000, clear to ILS, runway 17 approach. Center above 8,000, Snowbird, cleared the ILS approach for 17, American 4. American 800, cross Snowbird, out above 8,000, cleared to ILS, runway 17 approach.
Cross the Snowbird, at or above 8,000, clear to ILS, 17 approach, American Leader.
Atlanta Legion 1056, checking in for level 367. 56, Atlanta Sunday radar contact, welcome. Atlanta American 1708, ready to go 18, or correction 3600. American 17025, runway heading 3600, clear for takeoff. Fly runway heading runway 3600, clear for takeoff, American 1708. Center, Mike Kilo Alpha Tango Echo, flight level 38042 for track. Mike Kilo Alpha Tango Echo, Atlanta Center, roger, radar contact, welcome. American 2287, verify mode C. American 2384, runway 3 is right, taxi to Charlie. American 1091, approach President to Knoxville.
That was 23 right, if possible, 1081.
Roger, expect that, flight present heading, descend to maintain 9,000.
Heading 9,000, American 1081. 56, cross a Buckhead at 8,000, the line altimeter 29er, 79er. Sun Devil 56. Sierra Victory Lima 56, going to Peachtree DeKalb Airport. Who was that, sorry? 23. American 2384, let us center your radar contact, climb, maintain, flight level, let's do flight level 300. Climb, maintain, flight level 300 for American 2384. American Correction Frontier, nope, American 2384, go to Raleigh Durham viewer. There for Raleigh Durham, American 2384. Frontier Flight 1327, descend and maintain 3,000. 3,000, Frontier Flight 1327. Delta 2312, Washington Center closed, radar service terminated, frequency change approved. Frequency change approved, talk to you later, Delta 2312, yep. What's up? American 1081 on Bravo 2. American 1081, taxi to parking, clear for all star runways. Taxi to parking, clear for all star runways, American 1081, thanks.
I don't know, for some reason. I don't. I can try it. I can try it.
It's time to finally refresh your bathroom and create a space you'll love. Get started. Floor & Decor can help.
If you look over there, there's a Washington Monument. Somewhere over here, I don't know exactly where it is, the Vice President's house. The reason why we can't reach the left. But it's always like one of my favorite approaches. This whole like pieces of like just visually did it. So look out the river. It's like you know, stuff in Washington. 1700 we want to be
Do you know the US Solar Company's nasty little secret? It turns out if you live in Maryland, they have to give you...
Okay guys, here's a fun one. So we're going to do inside Ming, cleared approach, LNAV, VNAV path. We'll go zeros. And at this point, we're reaching this decel point. It wants to slow and cross bank 210 at 4. So if I close the window now, it's probably going to want to speed up a little bit. So let's just leave it for a minute. What will lock it in is if I go flaps to 1 here. Now what's going to happen if I close the window, it'll bug, the 1 bug. So I'm in good shape. I can leave it just like that. Let's arm the speed brakes. Talk to the tower, cleared to land. Starting on down and starting around. I do like this approach. This is a lot of fun. It's really great if you're coming in from the west of Chicago, southwest of Chicago. You don't want to be vectored way out to the east to get in line for 2-2 left doing the Yankee. If they can fit you in, they will, and it's just really efficient. We don't have to fly so far out of our way. We just fly this thing all the way around. I'm still going to do the same thing, my 2,000 foot window here, so 2,611 is where I'll probably go landing gear down in flaps 15. Got downtown there. Keep making this turn around. Flaps 15. Right. 4 landing checklist is complete. Cleared to land. Right there, 2-2 left. – 1,000 feet, airspeed 136, sync rate 850. Go ahead and bring everything off and fly it in ourselves as soon as it goes wings level. All away. Just try to fly that path in, just peek in every so often on the VNAV path and make sure that we're on path. Try not to get high. Definitely don't want to get slow. Little nose down trim, help it come down. 500. Chicago, definitely want to aim for the first 2,000 feet of the runway. Any longer than that, you're going to be going around. A little fast, a little high. Let's get the power back, get the nose down. Once you clear this fence, perfectly acceptable to pick up 3 red on the Vassy, the Pappy rather. Keep on coming down. You want to be down there in that first 1,000 to 1,500 feet if at all possible. Extended.
We took our brand new software company ListKit, sent 10,000 cold emails per day, and hit $108,000 in monthly recurring revenue in 90 days. Cold email completely changed our business without investing tens of thousands into paid ads and without any VC or Silicon Valley funding.
So here's my offer to you. We will build you a done-for-you cold email system into your business for a one-time payment so you own the system forever. No overpriced agency retainers or ongoing performance fees, and you'll be able to send 15,000 to 50,000.
Hello everyone and welcome to another video on the Tolis Airbus A321, and today we're going to look at flying an RNAV approach. It's been requested by a few of you, So we'll have a look at doing that here in Rome, Fiumicino, onto runway 16 left, and we'll look at some of the differences with some of our other approaches. I am a real-world Airbus pilot, so hopefully this brings some extra context to your home simulations, but as always, this isn't for any real-world use, it's just for our use in X-Plane. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so here we are in the hold at Suvok. We're sitting here at 4,000 feet, which is our minimum hold altitude. 185 knots is the maximum speed in this hold, so we're doing 180 knots flap 2. It's quite an unusual holding speed. It's not really where you'd expect to hold. It's quite low down, so it's not very efficient. This will be quite a last-minute thing if it's given to you by air traffic. So we're going to sit here and then we're going to head off and fly the RNAV approach for runway 16 left. So I'm going to bring this up full screen for us to make it a bit easier. Right. So the difference with an RNAV and our normal non-precision approaches is basically that we're going to be using the aircraft's own navigation performance to fly the approach, and especially we're going to be using GPS. With a VOR or an NDB approach, we had two options. We could fly it using Final App, or what's called fully managed approach, or we can fly it using selected modes, or a combination of the two. Selected modes being track and FPA, where we manually follow the VOR. With an RNAV approach, we have to fly in either nav FPA or we have to fly in Final App. We can't fly in track FPA because there's nothing for us to track, because we're simply following this green line that the airplane has in its head, effectively. It also means that we don't have any backup outside the airplane, so we need to use the GPS systems on the aircraft. So I can see here I've got GPS primary, and there's another GPS on the other side. So we've got two FMGCs on the Airbus. We have this one and this one. I know these are the MCDUs, but they both lead into their own FMGCs. We can use either of these. So if I want to use this one, I'll use Autopilot 1, or if I want to use this one, I'll use Autopilot 2. So if one of them said accuracy low, or it didn't have GPS primary, then I have to use the other side. And I only need to use one of them to do this. So here we go then, RNP runway 16 left. We're in the hold. We're going to head from Suvok down to Auxerre and then fly the approach. So we'll go through our usual hatch for FMGC setup. Suvok, and I'll go to plan mode and we'll have a look through. There we go, that should be good. Suvok, Auxerre, fine, 210 knots, and there is a speed limit there. Then RF741, so Auxerre RF741, track of 160, and then it says track 159 to Fiumicino, runway 16 left. So this is something else we have to do on this approach. We have to check the coding very, very carefully, because we are relying on this coding to be accurate. In the real airplane, we can only use 1 degree difference between this charted final approach track and the track in the box, and unfortunately it's actually 2 degrees here. So as you can see, we've got 161 and this is showing 159, although it does show 160 for the step before. Now there's a few reasons why this could be, it can be wrong in the airplane as well, as long as there is a check of the coding error carried out by the company, that sort of thing. So there's all sorts of airline procedures as to whether we can do this or not. So I'm going to say for today in X-Plane we can. I'm not sure why there's that difference showing. But as I say, in real life we treat it very carefully. So we also need to check the vertical profile very carefully. It's not shown here on the TOLIS FMGC yet, unfortunately. So we need to check it within 0.1. So this is a 3 degree approach, it says here. But unfortunately we can't check the box. What I can see is the final descent point should be RF741, because that's planned to be at 2,500 feet. As I said, we would also need to check that in the box, but it's hard without the angle. It's basically the final descent point will be where you have your first angle showing a descent. Anyway, so for today we're going to use RF741, so we know we'll be there 2,500 feet, so that's our platform essentially. We're using Final App for this approach, so I can configure exactly as I would for an RLS, so I'm going to do that. I'll be flap 2, 160 knots, start down the glide slope, and then put out the rest of the gear.
Here's the big secret about women. We want you to flirt with us. We even...
Something worth checking carefully as well is the missed approach, of course. So we will have a look up here. And we're going to climb on the runway heading, 161, so it seems to be accurate there, frustratingly. And then we are going to Go to 2,000 feet, RF 742, make a right turn, maximum 185, and then intercept 186 to intercept the radial 160 from Oscar Sierra Tango. Continue to RF 743 and hold. So that's all in there, so that's great. So we'll do our hatch for our approach emergency setup. Radnavs, well, this is using the OST as a backup DME. They reference it a few times. So what I'll do is, I think I will actually stick in the OST as a hard tune on my side. OST. Oh. Because why not? Next we're going to look at the progress page. I've already put in the threshold. This is advisable LIRF 160 because we don't have an accurate DME. The DME, this VOR OST isn't out on the runway, it's nowhere near it in fact, so we're a lot closer than we realised, 2.4 miles closer to the threshold than the VOR shows, so it's worth having this in here. And a lot of our nav approaches will use that as the reference for distance. They won't bother with this VOR, so it does depend on where you are. Performance page. I've entered the weather as per normal for a flat full landing, and minima. This is quite important. We've got a few options for minima for an RNP approach. RNP approach, there's a few different names of them. Today we have, it says here, LPB, DAH refer to minimums. So we go down to the bottom of the charts, and here we go, LPB. Well, we're not an LPB equipped aeroplane as far as I'm aware. I've never flown one. That's quite a fancy, it means localizer performance and vertical guidance, I believe, something like that. Basically, we aren't equipped for it. I don't know if there are any short-haul Airbuses that are. There may well be. It's amazing the different equipment you can have fitted to these airplanes. They're all quite variable. So we're going to use this minima on the right, the LNAV, VNAV minima, which is not quite as good. It's not quite as accurate, but it's not bad either. We also have this note, missed approach climb rate minimum 4.3 up to 2,000. So your airline performance procedures would cover that. You need to work out whether you meet that. We're a Category C airplane, so I'm going to use 500. Now I can only use this minima if I'm doing an LNAV VNAV approach. If I'm just doing an LNAV approach, so that would mean I was using nav mode and FBA guidance and just tracking the, I'm following the vertical profile manually. If I was doing that, then I would need to use this minima. It's not as accurate. But for today, we can use LNAV and VNAV because I'm going to use final app mode, which is much easier. It reduces the workload and it gives us better minima. Some reasons you might end up with this would be, for example, if you didn't have good enough vertical guidance for some reason, although to be honest, you still have to have GPS working to fly that because you're using nav mode. But it's typically to do with temperature. If it's too cold and the temperature is below the minimum temperature for this procedure, then the vertical guidance in this mode isn't satisfactory. So we need to use this mode and follow it ourselves and use appropriate corrections for the cold weather. The colder it is, the lower you actually will be to the ground, so it starts to become an issue. It's quite cold, usually something like, leave LS on, you'll see this flashing VDEV scale, because we're not using the ILS, so probably get rid of that. So I'm going to arm the approach button when RF741 is my next waypoint, and that is where we expect to descend from 2,500 feet, which is our platform. Checked off our chart earlier, we can see it on this chart here. You can see it going up and down beneath us, and lateral deviation, which is why we have this bar. Remember, you do not turn on the LS button at 10,000 feet, or you get it right from air traffic control and it's set right, otherwise the vertical profile just won't work. The airplane will show you on this VDEV scale that you are on the right profile, even though you are not, because it will have the wrong idea. Okay, won't dwell on that too long. Fuel prediction, we got a little extra fuel, and secondary just to copy. So let's go and get started with the approach. Just to give you some context of where we are. We're in the hold now at Suvok. We're at 4,000 feet. I've already activated the approach phase, which is why we have this bar. Remember, you do not turn on the LS button at 10,000 feet. And let's go and begin the approach.
Atomic approach finish 1 kilo was at cross 19 to kilo.
Okay, now we are approaching Oak-Zero, descending to 2,500 feet, which is acceptable. There's our radio altimeter check. Now it's quite a lot out, isn't it? That's because there's terrain beneath us. It's something we've checked off our chart earlier. We can see it on this chart here. You can see it going up and down beneath us, and lateral deviation sitting there. If you accidentally leave LS on, you'll see this flashing VDEV scale. We're not using ILS, so probably get rid of that. So I'm going to arm the approach button when RF741 is my next waypoint, and that is where we expect to descend from 2,500 feet, which is our platform. And you'll see here as we intercept, I've got no needles to track, I've got nothing else, I just need to monitor that we have GPS primary accuracy high. You can see the required accuracy is very precise, 0.3 nautical miles required to do this. And we actually estimated 0.05, which is great. Okay, so soon, there it is, RF741 is our next waypoint. I'm going to reduce the speed to 160 as I said I would, before we begin down that slope, and I'm going to arm the approach. And we see it's immediately going to final lap. Sometimes it will give you the armed codes first, depending. And now we know that this brick here, this VDEV brick, will come down to meet us because it's going to be at 2,500 feet at that point. So we know we'll capture it. That's the point. So we go 160 knots. And you'll see that this is actually a really simple procedure. It's really a great thing to have. It doesn't need anything working on the ground, because sometimes VORs and ILSs are out of service, that sort of thing. And we can simply fly the approach ourselves. The downside being we need the aeroplane to be functioning quite well to do it. Although I say quite well, we have backup systems, so it's not likely to lose all of them, you'd hope. So it's just shifting the focus from the ground-based radio navigators to the aeroplane. And here we go. Now we'll back up our profile. So at 6.4 OST, I'm currently at 9, I'm looking for 1350 feet, to give me a good idea. Let's configure. Go down. 3. And as you can see, it really doesn't matter that I'm configuring on the glide slope, because the airplane now, we ballooned a little bit high and it increases the rate of descent to get back onto profile, just like it would an ILS. Really handy. Of course, if we were flying in FPA mode, so nav FPA, which we could do, but we couldn't use this minima. But if we were flying nav FPA, I'd have to have configured before I started my descent. Otherwise, get high in the profile, it'd be very hard to make it back down again. And there we go. The next thing to talk about is what do we do when we get to minima? Well, the missed approach point for this approach is actually at the threshold. I can see this here. LIR 160. It takes us all the way there, and you can see this here as well. So, why do I want to take out the autopilot? Take out the flight directors? Well, you actually won't need to in the real airplane these days. In approaches that are coded correctly, it's possible to have the. Just take that marker. It's possible to have the flight directors give you useful guidance all the way down to basically the threshold, at which point you just land the airplane and they will revert to final modes. But so far in the tow list, I've seen that it will actually revert early. So the official, we are stable at 1,000 feet, minimum use height for the autopilot varies as per airlines and procedures and airplanes, but sometimes down to sort of 250 feet above the ground is possible. But for that to be useful today, we would need the flight directors to stay working in this mode effectively. So we'll see what happens. I'm expecting them to revert to heading vertical speed too early. I think they'll revert around 400 feet, which is not up to date with some of the latest software in Airbus. If that happens, I'm just going to disconnect the autopilot, turn off the flight directors, and put the bird on. Remember, we always turn off the flight directors if we aren't following them. And you can see how accurate this minima is. It's much lower than the VOR approach we did into Toulouse. That's our minima there. Brilliant. Almost at the threshold, not far off a proper RS. And there we go. That's happened about 400 feet right up, which is too early. But anyway, flight directors off. Bird on and set the runway track, and then we can land ourselves. And now it's just a case of keeping that rate of descent. Rate of descent for our normal landing technique. Also, it brings us on a straight in, basically. We don't have to have any offset. Some VORs will be offset from you because of the fact the VOR isn't in the right place.
Southwest 158, affirmative, clear direct column, descent of 1810,000. Clear column, 10,000, Southwest 1158.
As an example for you, if we decided we couldn't use vertical navigation, so we have to use LNAV, then I need to change my minima, and I'm going to use this minima here, 570. So simply go here, 570. You'll also notice it says CDFA, so it's continuous descent final approach, which is what we are going to do, which is when we In the old days, there would be some approaches where you would go down to minimum and fly level until you could see the runway or not, and then go around. But these days we don't do that. We fly this continuous descent on final. And then we can simply track it as we did last time using track FPA, except we're going to use nav FPA, and I'm going to do it using these distances. So at 7 miles. But see, it's distance to runway 16 left. So you can't use the VOR distance. We're using the progress page distance. So it would appear here. Or, once we are on final approach, it will appear in the top right of the navigation display. So let's have a look at doing that. Differences being, we will need to configure fully before we begin our descent. So I'll be gear down flat 3, and then just as we reach top of descent, I'm going to go flat full and start my descent at 3 degrees. Okay, so here we are. Getting close to platform altitude, soon turning onto final. We're already in nav mode, so now I'm not going to arm final approach because of course we are using track FPA, but I am going to change the track FPA. And I'll leave it in nav. You can see it's gone to FPA -2.9, that's not an issue, it's going to capture, there we go, out to star. Okay, retract the speed brakes. Okay. Go to flat 3. And same distance as before, so about 1 mile before I'm going to arm my 3 degrees. And then at half a mile I'll put it at flat full. At 0.3 miles I'm going to select 3 degrees down. So we now gear down flat 3. We can arm the spoilers. It's in the cabin. Waiting for the rest. 2 miles to go. By arming this profile, I simply just mean you can just scroll it in there. Eventually that will go blank if it stays in the run mode for too long. So that's why we wait till about a mile before we set it up. And then we got our altitude checks here. So there's 1.3, so let's get that ready now. So there's 3 degrees, it's ready to go. At 0.5, I'm going to put out flat full. Just 2 miles to go. By arming this profile, I simply just mean you can just scroll it in there. Eventually that will go blank if it stays in the wrong mode for too long.
DMV, want to do something great in 2025? Go back to school. UMGC offers low-cost tuition.
So we fly 3 degrees, but as you put up the flag, that gives us energy and the airplane will get slightly high. And then it will return to 3 degrees, but it will just parallel the approach high and you'll need to correct it. And coming up, well, not quite something. Nope, around about 13.2, green needle will start to move right. Let's do 3.5. That's reference rate of descent. Need to get used to track 322 even with the wind. And as the wind changes, the aeroplane should correct for you, just small adjustments needed. I'm now visual. So, same as earlier. Propeller, flight rigs off. Runway track is set, and now I'm going to gently bring myself. And now, if I set 322, the airplane will fly that track. So I don't need to set a wind corrected heading here because I'm using track. It's much easier. Same with the flight path angle. Just flies the track and the angle as we want it. There we go, pretty good. So we're on the needle. Back and down we go. I'll set that going altitude 4,000 feet. So as I said, the simplest way is to let the airplane turn onto final itself. If I go to the VOR page, as I tuned it in, we've got this course bar, and you can see the course bar is off to the left, so we are right of the final course at 322. We've also got this needle we can see, which is showing us where the VOR is. So I want this needle to be on 322, the head of this needle. Where it is now, it's to the left of my track, so I need to go further to the left. But it can't be my heading, it needs to be my track, which is this diamond. So as long as this track is further left of the needle than the course, so we've got the course here that we want to be on, 322. We've got the needle which is left of it, so I need to get my track further left of it to make sure that it's then moving right towards the needle. If this green diamond was to the right of this white needle, then that white needle is going to start moving left. So that's the way we do it when we're flying towards a VOR. It's slightly different if you're flying away from a VOR, which some approaches use, but we won't talk about that now. So now this is starting to come in, so I'm getting within sort of 5 degrees of my final approach course that I want, 322. And the airplane's going to turn, but actually let's do it selected. So let's pull the track, and now let's accept this final course ourselves. I'm going to make sure I don't forget to configure by putting the gear down and flat 3 now. And let's start turning, so let's set 322. And we can see that as we're left, that needle is still coming right, and it's still coming right. now it's reaching 322, but it's a slight error where you turn. We're also quite far out, 16 miles from the VOR, so it's not very sensitive out here. So there is a bit of error. This course bar will be more accurate for us. Let's make sure we don't miss our configuring point. So we gear down for lap 3, arm those, and you can see now we are right of the track we want to be. So the bar is off to our left, and that needle is still slightly to the left. So if I stay here, we're just going to go down paralleling the track to the wrong side. So let's bring that left. Exactly as we did with the FPA. Small corrections as you get closer in, but out here we can do slightly more. So I need that green diamond to be left of the white needle to make sure I am actually getting closer and not just paralleling it. And now you can see that green needle will start to move right. Let's do 315. 14 miles to go, so I'm going to start preparing. Let's arm 3 degrees down. So it's just in there, I'm not going to do anything to it. It's just ready to go. I can see that I'm correcting the track, so the green diamond is left.
I don't know how.
American 2384 at IMS clear to RNAV for runway 20. Southwest 1158 cross column at 3000 clear to runway 10 approach. Cross column 3000 clear hours approach Southwest 1158.
The moment of truth. The moment of truth.
On Charlie, with Charlie. Attack the bar. Legion 884, Potomac runway 30, taxi via Zulu, Yankee 11, and Delta's crew now. Taxi via Zulu. Yankee 11. We got Delta for Legion 884. American 2384 Richmond, winds 20 at 7, runway 20, clear line.
A disaster.
1000.
This is
2,500.
So this was when we finally got it right. I want to see that screw up. That screw up. Where was it? Was it here? Okay, yeah. Okay, here. Okay, I think this is. No, no, it can't be. We've gone too far. Okay. Okay, 9,000, 7,000, 5,000, 4,000. Okay, we're coming down. All right, here we go. All right, here. I want to see what I did here. What happened? That's impossible. Okay, so what happened? I don't. Okay, what happened? Let's see. Go. Okay. Had started turning here. The navigation? Was it the navigation? Because I went and I cut it off. Hold on.
Too low, terrain. 300. Sink rate, too low. Sink rate, sink rate. 200. Sink rate, sink, too low. Sink rate, sink rate. Too low, flaps. 400.
I should have put the tracker on. The track wasn't on. And I'm supposed to be tracking I'm supposed to be tracking what was it again? I'm supposed to be tracking 149. That's what I should have had here. 149 should have been my tracking. I didn't put it here. Then for here, so that means if I had put it here, then what it would have done is very likely is the point. You see, it's supposed to happen. I was trying to do the RNAV 19 approach into Reagan, and that's this runway right here. And every time I try it, I fail. So I just discovered that I didn't put the tracker on to track the runway. And when it got to this point, it... Landing gear touched the water, but also the... that's it for today. I don't know what's going on in Chicago. I see a lot of people flying to Chicago. Okay, we're gonna do a long flight. Let's do a flight from DCA to, why am I thinking of Salt Lake City? I've never flown to Salt Lake City. Okay, let's do that. Let's start a new flight. So from DCA to Salt Lake City. No, I want something because I'm about to run some errands. So I need something that is really long. So let's do DCA to Reagan. Yeah, let's do DCA to Reagan. Okay. And it started me in Atlanta because I know where this airport is. Just looking at the buildings, I can tell this is Atlanta, and I'm correct. That's Atlanta. It's so funny how you can tell. You can tell the airport. You can know the airport. Yeah. That is Atlanta. But we don't want to be in Atlanta. We want to be in Reagan. So we already just landed in Reagan. So that's where we want to be. So Reagan, we're flying from Reagan, and we're flying Reagan to Los Angeles. So I'm about to